The following is a presentation of Washington and Lee men's basketball on 91.5 FM WLUR Lexington. Now let's go live to the gymnasium. Here is Jeremy Franklin.
Well, hi everybody. Welcome inside the Kreger Center here in Salem, Virginia, as we get set for Old Dominion Athletic Conference men's basketball long-standing rivalry between the Generals of Washington and Lee and the Maroons of Roanoke College renewed tonight. Just 4 games left in the regular season for both of these teams, fighting for position going into the ODAC tournament, which starts in less than 2 weeks. Washington and Lee almost certainly will have a first-round bye, 7 through 10, in that play-in round 2 weeks from yesterday. Roanoke, meanwhile, currently fighting for one of the final byes, straight to the quarterfinals. The quarters, semis, and championship played across town from here at the Salem Civic Center. The Generals 9-3 in ODAC play. They are in third place, 17-4 overall. Washington and Lee has won 7 in a row and 12 of its last 13. Roanoke is 7-5, sixth place in the ODAC, 13-8 on the season. One of the Maroons' 5 defeats, one of those 7 wins during the current streak for WNL came against Roanoke at the Duchess-Watt Tennis Center on the 22nd of January, 3 weeks ago, 70-64. Washington and Lee on fire from three-point range in the first half of that game, 10 of 15 from beyond the arc. Cooled off in the second half. The Maroons made some great defensive adjustments, got the lead down to 1. It was 11 at halftime. Roanoke pulled within 65-64 in the final minute. Mark Lamondola made some big plays down the stretch, a three-point play on the offensive end, a key block on the defensive side, and the Generals won it 70-64. Big news for WNL. They will have to vie for the sweep of the Maroons without the second leading scorer in the ODAC, William Brueggemann, who is sick tonight, did not make the trip with the team down to Salem. He scored 28 in the first meeting, 7 of 13 from 3, tied the single-game school record for triples in that contest, averaging 18.3 points and 6.9 rebounds. The Generals will have to make do without Brueggemann tonight. He's certainly not the only weapon for this Washington and Lee team. Kevin Dennon's been playing the best basketball of his career, I think without question, over the last couple of months, up to 12.2 points per game. That number much higher since he joined the starting lineup in mid-December. Curtis Mitchell, 0.1 rebound shy of averaging a double-double, 10.8 points, 9.9 boards. Richie Manigault and Mark Lamondola at 10.2 and 9.4 respectively. Filling Brueggemann's spot in the starting lineup will be the senior Mark Krogan, who makes his second career start. The other came in the senior day win over Guilford back in Lexington a week and a half ago. Roanoke, a new-look Maroons team after losing 2 of their superstars in Josh Freund and C.J. Miles. Caleb Jordan, who had a big second half against WNL the first time around, leading the Maroons at 11.4. Trip Green at 11.2. Casey Draper, 10.5. He's coming off a career-high 24 in the Maroons win at Hampton City on Saturday. And Efosa Edosimon, the talented rookie, who had a nice 15-point effort against Washington and Lee in Lexington, averaging just under 10 points per game. The Maroons, an efficient team, solid on the defensive end, and the Generals again trying to compete against that very good defensive play, Nunley, without their leading scorer tonight. Our coverage of Generals basketball here on WLUR Lexington, 91.5 FM, and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting, is brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Owned and operated by WNL, the University Store is located right on campus in Elrod Commons. The store features a wide range of apparel celebrating Washington and Lee, including the Peter Millar Collegiate Collection, offering polos and sweaters for your game day style. If you're looking for workout gear, we have a variety of performance apparel from Nike and Under Armour. All proceeds go back to the Washington and Lee community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. The store is open 7 days a week. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. The Generals and the Maroons, they have met 136 times before in men's basketball, meeting number 137 straight ahead here on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
911, what is your emergency?
My kid shot himself.
All right, where's the wound, sir?
911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother.
911, what is your emergency?
Okay.
911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Once again, welcome live inside the Kreger Center in Salem. Jeremy Franklin with you for our coverage of Generals basketball as Washington and Lee takes on Roanoke men's hoops tonight. WNL has won the last 2 meetings against the Maroons, both in Lexington. Prior to that, the Maroons had taken 6 of 7, including 3 games against Washington and Lee 2 seasons ago, culminating in the ODAC semifinals. Starting lineups tonight: Roanoke 13-8 overall, 7-5 in ODAC play. Clay Nunley, in his 4th year, will send out Caleb Jordan, a 5'11 senior from Charlotte. Dylan Thomas, a 6-foot junior from Henrico, Virginia. Tripp Green, a 6'1 sophomore from Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Casey Draper, a 6'3 first year from Roanoke. And Ethan Rohan, a 6'7 first year from Yonkers, New York. Again, no William Brueggemann tonight for Washington and Lee. The Generals' starting lineup will consist of Richie Manigault, 6'3 first year from Stewartsville, New Jersey. Mark Lamadola, 6-foot sophomore from Pittsburgh. Kevin Denon, a 6'2 senior from Severna Park, Maryland. Mark Krogan, 6'6 senior from Rye, New York. And Curtis Mitchell, a 6'8 junior from Chevy Chase, Maryland. So Washington and Lee in 3rd place at 9-3. In ODAC competition, 17-4 overall. The Generals a game behind Virginia Wesleyan in 2nd, a game ahead of Hampton-Sydney in 4th. The other ODAC contest tonight, Bridgewater at Randolph, Virginia Wesleyan is at Hampton-Sydney, Guilford visiting Lynchburg, Emory and Henry at Ferrum. 4 ODAC games left after tonight. The Generals go to 3rd-ranked Randolph-Macon on Saturday. The Yellow Jackets, again, who are idle tonight, are undefeated, 13-0 in conference play, 21-1 overall. Easter Mid-Night next Wednesday, that's the final home game for WNL. Ferrum on the road to wrap up the regular season on the 22nd. Roanoke visits Bridgewater and Lynchburg, then comes home to play Randolph on the final day of the regular season. Glad to have you with us. We've had some very mild, sometimes even spring-like weather for most of the winter. It is cold and drizzly and dreary in the Shenandoah Valley down into the Roanoke Valley here tonight, so we're glad to be indoors, even though some of the spring teams are underway. Got a big lacrosse doubleheader back on the Washington and Lee campus on Sunday. Curtis Mitchell, Ethan Rohan to jump. We're underway. Generals in blue, Maroons in the home white. Roanoke controls the tap, and the Maroons attack the goal to our right here in the opening 20. Generals come out in man-to-man, a lot of switching with this WNL defense. Ball comes down to the baseline to Draper. Only had one bucket the first meeting, and he throws it back to the wing, stolen by Mark Lamondola. Transition look, Lamondola misses, gets his own rebound, kicks it back to the perimeter. Richie Manigault for three, and that's good. So a steal, and the secondary transition gets the Generals on the board first. WDL has not played in a week. 13 teams in the ODAC. They had the open date this past weekend. They beat Shenandoah in a tight one up in Winchester last Wednesday, 77-72. Richie Manigault had a great game against the Hornets. Draper into the lane, guarded by Lamondola, feeds it back outside, comes to the right wing to Trip Green, who's guarded by Krogan. Green, the drive, the floater is up off glass, and good. He got right in between Krogan and Mitchell and is able to score. Both Green and Draper, who averaged double figures, pretty much non-factors in the first meeting. Draper 1 of 6 from the field, 3 points. Green was also 1 of 6, only had 2 points. Trying to get both of those guys active early tonight. 3-2 Generals, just over a minute in. Denon gets it wing right side. Maroons in man-to-man. One dribble handed off to Curtis Mitchell. Gives to Lamondola on the left wing. Lamondola to the foul line. Bounce pass to the cutting Denon. Tries the handoff inside to Mitchell. Posting up on Rohan, and he travels. Not a lot of guys can match Mitchell's size, but Rohan is one of the few. 6'7". He got in foul trouble early on against Washington and Lee in the game in Lexington and had his minutes limited because of that. This time forces the turnover against Mitchell. Rohan not a big scorer, only averages about 4 points a game, but a rebounder and a defender that a lot of teams lack when trying to slow down Mitchell. Dylan Thomas around to Green. Gives it to Jordan on the right wing. Jordan guarded by Manigault. Comes left side to Green. Draper sets the screen. Generals pick it up well. Now Draper inside. Shot clock down to 3, and Draper, I think he walked. Yes, he did. Great defensive possession by Washington and Lee. Draper trying to post up. He was closely guarded, and the Generals get it back. They lead it by 1, 18-15 to play first half. Mark Lamondola stops top of the key, gives to Mitchell, left side to Manigault. Manigault, a couple of bounces. He'll swing it down low to Krogan. Back to the basket against Draper. Krogan kicks it out to Mitchell. Mitchell driving by Rohan, gets to the rim, and gets tied up by the help defender, Trip Green. It's a jump ball. Washington and Lee will keep it on the alternating possession. Terrific help defense that time by Green. Mitchell may not have a size advantage against Rohan, but he's obviously faster. 13 on the shot clock. The ball comes into Mitchell. One-on-one again with Rohan, and he travels. Happy feet. Recognizes that he can get by Rohan, but he's got to put the ball on the deck first. Got a couple of turnovers already for both teams. Such a significant matchup. And yes, the Generals would love to have William Brueggemann, but Roanoke was expecting to guard Brueggemann, so they're adjusting to number 4 not being on the floor for WDL. That's tougher than you might think when you practiced all week to slow down a guy. Now he's not there. 10 on the shot clock for the Maroons. Comes left side to Green. Green around a screen from Rohan. Out to Draper inside Rohan. Working on Krogan. Mitchell comes over to help and blocks the shot. Lamondola, tough pass in transition. It is picked up by Thomas. Tried to force that through to Mitchell. Another turnover. 3 each way now. Here's Draper on the attack. The floater over Mitchell. I think got a piece of it, and the rebound out off the Generals. Roanoke basketball. The shot never hit the rim, so the possession clock at 19. 3 early changes for WDL with 17:09 to play. And 3 first-years coming in. That's Jack Lewis, Robert DeCibio, and Sam Wise. Denon and Mitchell remain on the floor. Rotation will obviously change as well without Brueggemann available tonight. Top of the key, it's Green. Denon, the defender. Green can't get by and wants to hand off to Jordan and does. 9 to shoot. Jordan against Denon off a switch. Into the lane, double team, kick to Green. Open 3 right side, no good. Maroons have the highest three-point percentage in the ODAC. They're not a volume outside shooting team, though, 8th in makes. Still 3-2. Washington and Lou's been stuck on that for a while. 16:41 to play. DeCibio right side to Sam Wise. Wise against Green, steps back out. 13 on the shot clock. Left side to DeCibio. DeCibio into the lane, lost the handle, lost control. Rohan picks it up. Numbers for the Maroons. Draper leads the break, swings to Jordan. From the low blocks, he'll score and give Roanoke a 4-3 lead. fourth Generals turnover, and finally the Maroons cash in on one. Mitchell top of the arc, gives to Denon. Denon to the right elbow, kick out to Samwise. He's open, but way off on the three, an air ball. And here comes Dylan Thomas for Roanoke. Up by one, 4 minutes into the game. Draper attacking, stops in the lane, misses the 10-footer, rebound to Mitchell. Samwise runs the floor. Wise still going now, hands off to Mitchell. Sends it right side to Lewis. Lewis out front to Mitchell. One dribble, gives to Samwise. Wise left open again, tries another one. This one's good. He missed everything on the first one, and he buries the second. And the Generals lead at 6-4, 15:37 to play first half. Walked up by Tripp Green. Lewis will pick him up near the timeline. Green still going up the right sideline now. Green turns on the Jets, gets to the rim, and scores. Tripp Green, I think, just lulled W&L to sleep. And he ties things up at 6. Lewis wing left side. Down low to Mitchell. Quick first step around Rohan. Gets down low. Layup, no. Gets his own rebound. Put back is good, and a foul. Second chance there for Mitchell. They're going to call the foul on Dylan Thomas. That's our first foul of the game with 15:10 to play. Got a lot of changes. I think 8 players waiting at the scores table. For Roanoke now, it's Joe Michalowskis, Braden Galt, Nick Price, Efosa Edosimwan. And it looks like Thomas, the lone Maroon, who will stay out there. Lamondola and Krogan back in for the Generals. Gus Wise checks in. Samwise also on the floor. Curtis Mitchell hits the free throw now. He's replaced by Richie Manigault. 3-point play for Mitchell. 9-6 Washington and lead. And the Generals extend the defense here with some full court pressure. Looks like a zone press. Price, the backup point guard, who handles the ball very well. Great defender also. Able to get it across, no problem. Dylan Thomas out front to Price. Back to Thomas on the right side. He's the ODAC leader in three-point percentage, and he turns it over. Good deflection by Gus Wise. Lamondola to pick up. Samwise in the open floor, nothing there. And it comes around to Lamondola on the left wing. Lamondola working baseline and turns it over. He got caught through it right to Michalowskis. Michalowskis away to Price. Price working baseline. And now he'll step back out, feed Thomas. Back to Price. Passes up an open three. Gives it to Michalowskis. Back to Thomas. Off to the wing. It goes to Edosimwan. 13 to shoot. Edosimwan into the lane. And post up over Lamondola. Great shot fake. And it got Lamondola up in the air. And he came down, made contact. And that's going to result in the Maroons' first free throws of the night. Efosa Edosimwan, the rookie from Waxhaw, North Carolina. An 18-point game against Hampton-Sydney on Saturday. He had 15 first time around against Washington and Lee, and his free throws will come on the other side of our first timeout of the night. 14:19 to play in the opening half. It's Washington and Lee 9, Roanoke 6. Back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
Early 3-point lead for Washington and Lee. Trying to win in the Kreger Center for the first time. This great facility that's already hosted a national championship in basketball. Division III women's title game was here last March. I believe they've got the women's semis and championship again next season. Efosa Edosimwan at the line for Roanoke. And the first one is up and good. Rolls off the front of the iron. Edosimwan, 63% foul shooter. And he'll try to pull his team to within one. That was the first W&L foul of the game. Only one called on Roanoke so far. Second one rattles out. Krogan the rebound for W&L. 9-7. There's Lamondola working to the right side. Picks up his dribble. He's caught against Price, but Gus Wise comes back to help. Gus Wise handing off to Krogan. Gives to Samwise. Little weave out front. 10 on the shot clock. Away to Manigault. Contested three right side. No good. And a tough rebound is gathered in by the Maroons, and then a Generals foul. Picked up by Braden Galt, the Belmont Abbey transfer. I believe they got Gus Wise for the foul. Actually, nope, it was his brother. It was a Wise brother double team. And Sam is the man who gets the foul, and there's another timeout on the floor. We'll take another short break. 2-point lead for Washington and Lee, 13:53 to play in the first half here in Salem.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
9-7, Washington and Lee. We've seen a ton of turnovers in the opening 6 minutes and change. 5 committed by the Generals, 3 on the Maroons so far. Washington and Lee has hit a couple of three-point shots, and then they've got an old-fashioned three-point play from Curtis Mitchell. A couple of buckets early for Trip Green, which is twice as many as he had in the game in Lexington. He was Roanoke's leading scorer at the time. He's now second behind Caleb Jordan. WL women's basketball got a victory last night at home, 80-60 over Eastern Mennonite. And the Generals now 13-3, and the ODAC with 2 games left. They've won 11 of 12. Both WL basketball teams have been great, especially in the 2020 portion of the schedule. 1 loss apiece since the calendar turned. Pressure from the Generals. Roanoke contending with it. A good string of passes, and then Adosimwan gets it over. And now Thomas has it on the perimeter. Comes to the right side to Adosimwan, back out to Price. Now Thomas against Gus Wise. Thomas to the foul line, away to Mikolauskas. 8 on the shot clock. Braden Galt will get it. Gets by Krogan. Gets Sam Wise up in the air, but Krogan blocks the shot from behind. Great recovery to make the clean defensive play. At the other end, Manigault gets it in deep. Kick to Lamondola, out front to Krogan. Back to Lamondola, open in the left corner, shoots the 3, no good. Gus Wise the offensive rebound. Generals have a 20-second reset here. Manigault into the lane, one-handed floater is up, that won't go, rolls off the rim, and Gus Wise comes crashing in. Always going to be a foul. He made contact with about 4 Maroons on the way through and ended up knocking Dylan Thomas to the ground. If you can foul 4 people and only get called for 1 personal, I think you got your money's worth. 9-7 Generals, 13:05 to play first quarter. Nothing malicious about what he did. He was going after the ball, but there were a lot of Roanoke players in the way. Nick Price, long pass ahead to Caleb Jordan, who just returned for the Maroons. Back to Price. Jordan starts at the 1. They bring Price in, and Jordan, who's a good scorer, can play off the ball. Not a great shooter, but a good scorer. Inside it comes to Adosimwan, the post up, lost it against Denon. Ethan Rohan tries to save it in, and it goes out across the sideline, or maybe he was already out of bounds. Either way, it's Washington and Lee basketball. And that's the 4th Maroon turnover. Kevin Denon back on the floor for the Generals. They could use a big game from him tonight, especially in the absence of Brueggemann. Denon is yet to take a shot. Inside it comes to Curtis Mitchell. The post up, the hook shot, no. Gus Wise fighting for another rebound. He got a tap, but it comes to Casey Draper. Up the floor comes Jordan, away to Price. Price into the lane. Price the spin around Manigault, layup good. You don't see Nick Price look for his shot a lot, but he ties the score at 9. 12-14 left in the half. And a quick turnover. Curtis Mitchell got it out front, thumped it. Sam Wise was going to stay on the wing, and the ball goes straight out of bounds. That's turnover number 6 for Washington and Lee. Tevin Panchel has made his first appearance now for the Generals. Out there with DeCibio, Denon, Mitchell, and Sam Wise. For Roanoke, it's Jordan, Draper, Rohan, Green, and Adosimwan. Jordan out top to Draper. Right side it goes to Green. Top of the key, Adosimwan. He'll attack the rim. Adosimwan gets fouled. And I believe that's going to be the second on Sam Wise. It is. There is no fear at all in the game of Efosu Edosimwan. We saw that in the game of the DTC. He was an energizer for the Maroons when not a lot was going right for them in the first half of that game. He had 9 points. Nobody else had more than 5 in the opening 20 minutes. First free throw up and in. And Roanoke edging back in front with 11:54 to play. Second shot up and good. It's 11-9. Quickly ahead come the Generals. Sam Wise all the way to the low blocks. Nothing there against Edosimwan. Wise staying out there with the 2 personals. We'll have to check on the foul situation in a moment. Rob DeCibio driving in and laying it up and in. Big bucket there from the first year, who comes in averaging 1.9 points per game. That ties things up at 11. On the drive, Edosimwan muscles it up. DeCibio got a sliver of it. This shot no good. DeCibio the rebound. Sam Wise at the other end. Sam Wise drives inside, leans around the defender and scores. Quick burst from Washington and Lee, and a timeout taken by the Maroons. We do have to update the foul count here. The one that we thought was on Sam Wise earlier on a Roanoke rebound was on Gus. So Gus has 2, Sam just the 1, and he just got his second basket of this first half. 5 points for Sam Wise and a 13-11 Generals lead with 11:16 to play. If we can, we'll try to get some scores for you here. Virginia Wesleyan 14, Hampton-Sydney 12, 9:09 to play. Those are the teams sandwiched around WNL in the ODAC standings. The Marlins a game ahead, the Tigers a game behind. Guilford an early 15-9 lead over Lynchburg. Bridgewater and Randolph squaring off in Lynchburg tonight. The Eagles lead the Wildcats 17-15. 13-11 Washington and Lee here in Salem. More full-court defense from Washington and Lee. Jordan sees a double team coming, goes the other way, and gets it across. Almost just token pressure unless Roanoke gets too close to the baseline or the sideline. Draper gets it right elbow. Kick out to the corner to Edosimwan around to Green. Open right side 3, no good. Don't want to leave him all alone like that. He shoots well over 40% from 3. Generals have it up 2. DeCibio works to the right side, gives to Kevin Dennett. Jordan right up in his grill, denying the 3-point shot. Back to DeCibio. Around to Mitchell. Hand off to Denon, 12 on the shot clock. Denon a step back long 2 is good. That was behind the old 3-point line, but not the new one. Denon's on the board with the deuce, and it's 15-11, 6 unanswered for Washington and Lee. Maroons get it over to Draper, out to Edosimwan. Back to Draper, high post. Generals in his zone now. Another open 3. This one is knocked down by Caleb Jordan. He's the guy you want shooting from the outside, but he hits his first attempt from distance, and it's 15-14. Curtis Mitchell, another great first step, but the kick out to Tevin Panchel, and he knocks down the 3 on the right side. Curtis Mitchell drew the double team, maybe had a good chance at a layup. He was in between the 2 defenders, but he averages over 3 assists per game, second on the team behind Sam Wise. The great find, Panchel on the wing. Draper, one-handed floater, no. Curtis Mitchell, the rebound. Generals up 4, 9:38 to play first half. Sam Wise, the handoff to Mitchell, right side to Panchel. Works it between the rings against Green. Deep left corner, Sam Wise. Wise back out to DeCibio, 13 on the shot clock. DeCibio will give it back to Sam Wise. He launches another 3, too strong that time. Bricked off the backside of the iron. Up the floor comes Trip Green, navigating through some traffic, gets down low and forces it up and in. Determined effort by Green as he's got 6 points. Wonderful pass. Sam Wise threw it 35 feet, hit DeCibio in stride for the wide open layup. Beautiful dime there by Wise, who has cooled off on the assist front as of late, but still ranks among the ODAC leaders in that category at 3.9 per game. 20-16 Generals, 8:47 to play. Draper free throw line, right side of Edosimwan, open 3 again against the zone. That one won't go, and Mitchell rebounds. At the other side, Tevin Panchel gets it deep right corner, back out to Sam Wise, away to Mitchell. Mitchell fakes the handoff, drives inside, lost his footing at the last second and could not get the layup over the rim. The other end, Dosimwan dribbles it off his knee, gets it back, feeds Draper. He bricks the three. Long rebound. Green taps it. It rolls off the foot of Jordan and will go back to the Generals with 8:17 to play. Washington in lead 20, Roanoke 16. Lots of changes here for the Generals. They've now got Gus Wise, Mark Lamendola, Jack Lewis, Mark Krogan, and Tevin Panchel on the floor. It's Joe Michalauskas, Dylan Thomas, Trip Green, Ethan Rohan, and Caleb Jordan for the Maroons. Lamendola at the point now that Sam Wise is back on the bench. Quick exchange out front with Panchel. Back to Lamendola, back to Panchel. Playing a game of catch at the moment. Lamendola top of the key. Now he'll start in. Gets into the lane. Puts it up and good from 8 feet away. Tough shot for Lamendola. His first points of the night. And the Generals lead at 22-16. Jogged ahead by Caleb Jordan. Jordan guarded by Lamendola on the left sideline. Gives to Michalauskas. Across to Green. Now away to Thomas. Thomas going inside to Michalauskas. Back to Thomas. And fumbled the ball when he was trying to shoot it. It's picked up by Gus Wise. Ahead to Panchel. And now it comes to Lewis, wing right side. Jack Lewis dribbling in front of the Roanoke bench. Now swings it across to Krogan. Krogan on the perimeter. The handoff for Lewis. Lewis, he'll fire up the three around Krogan. It's good. Washington and Leos open up a 9-point lead here. Jack Lewis buries the threes, the fourth WNL player to hit a three-point basket in this opening half. Ahead comes Jordan, guarded closely by Lamendola, who fights through a Michalauskas screen. Now Michalauskas in the corner, away to Thomas. Back to Michalauskas on the wing, 10 on the shot clock. Michalauskas, the runner, off the top of the backboard, must have been blocked. Krogan the rebound, another good look from the Generals defense. Lamendola, top of the key, Panchel, long three, well off target, and the rebound secured by Rohan. Lobbed ahead to Jordan in transition. He's fouled by Panchel, broke up the open layup, and free throws coming, I believe, after a timeout. We do indeed have a stoppage in play. 6:33 to play in the first half here at the Kreger Center. It's Washington in lead 25, Roanoke 16. Back in 30 seconds, you're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
9-point lead for the Generals. Washington and Lee shooting the ball quite well in the opening half here tonight. The Generals at 50% from the floor, 4 of 9 from three-point range. They have a make from 4 different players. And Roanoke, meanwhile, just 6 of 17 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. And despite those early turnovers, 6 of them for WNL, 5 from Roanoke. The Generals have opened up a pretty sizable advantage. Again, no William Brueggemann tonight. The second leading scorer in the conference is back home, sick. Not sure if he'll be able to return by the weekend when the Generals visit third-ranked Randolph-Macon. So far, Macon do without him, and it's really started on the defensive end. Great team defense. They are content to give the Maroons some decent looks at three, thinking that Roanoke will not take enough to make a big difference. Roanoke, again, leading the ODAC in three-point percentage, 39.5%, almost 4 percentage points better than anybody else in the league, but the only average 7.4 per game. That's 8th in the conference. Not a volume shooting team. See if that strategy changes if the Generals stay in the zone. Caleb Jordan at the foul line. Coming out of the timeout, he misses the first. Jordan, a 74% free throw shooter, 11.4 points, 3.8 rebounds per game, 16 points, 7 assists in the win at Hampton-Sydney over the weekend. And he's been in double figures 6 of the last 7. And he makes the second free throw. That's his 6th point tonight. It's 25-17. Mark Lamendola for Washington and Lee. Bounce pass away to Mark Krogan at the right elbow. Krogan back to Lamondola. Watching players make their cuts. Feeds it over to Manigault. Inside to Krogan. Guarded by J.P. Corser. Now out to Gus Wise. Shot clock is under 10. Jack Lewis gets it away to Gus Wise. He'll fire up the right side. 3 and hit over top of Mikalauskas, who was right there. 5 different Generals have hit a 3, and it's 28-17. Washington and Lee will take a lot of threes. In recent games, the Generals have been making a ton. They really struggled against Shenandoah last Wednesday. But a good start tonight, 5 of 10. Here's Jordan, top of the arc for the Maroons. 11 to shoot. Jordan down the lane. Great spin move in the finish. Caleb Jordan with 8 now, and it's 28-19. 5.5 to go first half. Krogan the handoff to Manigault. Away to Lewis on the right side. Lewis handing off to Gus Wise. Gus Wise into the corner to Manigault. Manigault gets inside the lane. The runner is up. No, but a whistle and a foul. And free throws coming for Richie Manigault. Brandon Harrell in the ball game and on the stat sheet now with a personal foul. Just the second on the Maroons this half. And Richie Manigault, the native of Stewartsville, New Jersey, 20-point game against Shenandoah last Wednesday. 4th time he has hit that mark this year. Mostly gets it done behind the three-point arc. 3rd on the team, 12th in the conference with 2 makes per game, shooting 34% from distance. He has 1 tonight, and he's now 1 of 1 at the foul line. He was 6 of 15 from 3 against Shenandoah. The rest of the team, 2 of 26. Misses the second free throw. It's a 10-point Generals lead. This for a team that had been red hot from beyond the arc in the previous handful of games. Draper the post up. Curtis Mitchell elevates to block the shot. Lamondola was the defender whom Draper was going 1v1 against. And then Mitchell, with that 6'8" frame and the leaping ability, blocked that shot from several feet away legally, without it being a goaltend, without it being on the way down. Sam Wise, Rob DeCibio back in for WNL. Kevin Dinnan has returned as well. They're playing with Manigault and Mitchell. Jordan, Corser, Draper, Harrell, and Green right now for Roanoke. Jordan takes it down the lane again and has his shot promptly blocked by Mitchell. This time, 1-on-1. Inside at the other end, Mitchell gets Corser up in the air and scores. Always love to see that. Guy makes a couple of big plays on defense, gets rewarded on the offensive end. 31-19 Generals. Washington and Lee locking down the defensive end right now. Roanoke shooting just 35% from the field. Here's Draper, left side to Harrell. Hands off to Green. Generals back in man-to-man. Green, drive and dish to the corner. 3 is up for Harrell. Won't go. The rebound to Dennett. Sam Wise runs the floor. Out front to Mitchell. Mitchell will give to Manigault. Manigault down the lane. Kick to the corner. Denon for 3. That is good from the right side. That's the first for Kevin Denon. He's the 6th General to hit from beyond the arc. And Washington and Lee up by 15. 3:50 to play first half. Trip Green has it for the Maroons, guarded by Sam Wise. Green on the wing. Comes around to Draper's screen. Feed away to Corser, left side to Jordan. Jordan back out to Draper, 12 to shoot. The give to Brandon Harrell. Harrell inside Draper, wants to go 1-on-1 with Dennett. Draper the back down, the dish to Harrell. Top of the key, 3 ball is up, well short. Rebound bounces out to Sam Wise. Another stop for the Generals, up 34-19. Kevin Denon, step back right side 3, in and out. It looked good, it was halfway down, just would not stick. Jordan up the left sideline for the Maroons. Around the horn it comes to Green on the right wing. Green away to Corser, who will fire the 3. That's another miss. Roanoke 1 of 8 from three-point range, and the Generals have it under 3 to play. Manigault lob to the baseline to Mitchell. Squares up against Corser. Mitchell, the post up around Corser, and he gets fouled. J.P. Corser doesn't get a lot of minutes. He did a nice job defensively against the Generals in the first meeting. A season-high 11 minutes in that game. Curtis Mitchell at the foul line, where he completed a three-point play earlier tonight, shooting only 49% at the charity stripe this year. Had a brief delay, and now Mitchell will get his free throws. First one is up, and it is good. Curtis Mitchell, the first Washington League player to 6 tonight. How about this for balance? In the absence of William Brueggemann, Mitchell with 6, Denon and Samwise have 5, Manigault and DeCibio have 4, Tevin Panchel, Jack Lewis, and Gus Wise have each hit a three-pointer. Mark Lamendola's got a bucket. Mitchell well short on the second free throw. The rebound deflects into the corner. And the last touch by the Generals. So Roanoke basketball 35-19 Washington League. Full court defense from W&L. The ball comes into Green. Good pass away to Price, who's got room to break the press. Inside it comes to Rohan on the offensive end. Generals scramble back to set up the half-court D. Press break could have led to an easy bucket. Washington League prevents that. Here's Price. Hand off to Green. Green back to Price, wing left side. Working baseline. Stops against Lamendola. Slings it back out to Adosim. Pulls up. 10-footer is up and good. A much-needed basket for Roanoke. Adosim just the fourth different Maroon to hit a field goal in this first half. 14-point Generals lead. 2:09 to go. DeCibio top of the key. Away to Mitchell. Mitchell the drive and dish. Samwise wide open right corner three short. And Adosim boards the miss. Runs the floor all the way inside, then ran into trouble and turns it over. Samwise has it. Transition for the Generals. Nothing there. Samwise, I think, got away with a walk at the top of the key. And he'll sling it away to Mitchell. Back out to Kevin Denon. And Chris McHugh wants a timeout. With 1:40 to play, his team up 35-21. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. We'll be right back.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
100 seconds to play in the first half at the Kreger Center. Jeremy Franklin with you here on WLUR and WLUR All Access. It's Washington League 35, Roanoke 21. Talk a lot about the Generals and the way they score the basketball. First in the ODAC in points per game, 82.2. In scoring defense, the Generals are 8th. But if you talk to Coach McHugh about that, he will accurately point out that's not really a fair statistic. Washington and Lee plays up tempo. They get more possessions, but so do their opponents. Field goal percentage defense, Washington and Lee is at 39.9%, 5th in the conference. But it would be the best mark for a Washington and Lee basketball team since 1969-70. That was the last time that a Washington and Lee men's basketball team held opponents under 40% from the field for the season. Roanoke at 33% tonight. Maroons have switched into a matchup zone. It comes inside to Mitchell. The back down on Rohan. The post up. Rohan the block. And it will stay with Washington and Lee with the shot clock at 2. Got to get something off the inbounds play here. Samwise will throw it in from the baseline. Into Denon, right corner three is up and good. With a hand at his face, Kevin Denon cans another three to beat the shot clock buzzer. The Generals are up by 17. They are 7-14 from beyond the arc in this first half. That was nasty. Trip Green, down low to Draper. Squares up against Denon. Draper into the lane. Great pass inside to Rohan. Reverse layup won't go, though. Mitchell did enough to impact that shot for the miss. 55 seconds to play out of what has been a great first half for Washington and Lee on the road. Curtis Mitchell on the perimeter. Away to Mark Lamendola. Foul line extended right side. Inside to Mitchell. Great cut to the rim. Mitchell stuffed by Rohan, who comes down with the basketball. Maroons have it, 35 seconds to go. Down the lane goes Price, and he's fouled. And that'll be on Kevin Denon, his first, and Nick Price going to the line. Roanoke has only had 4 players score in this first half. Caleb Jordan has 8, Trip Green 6, Fosa Dosen 1 5. Nick Price has the other 2. Nothing so far for Casey Draper, who averages 10.5. Nothing for Dylan Thomas, the great three-point shooter. Price's first free throw up and good. Dosen one going out. And Caleb Jordan back in, 33.1 seconds left, 38-22. Generals pending the second free throw here for Price, the sophomore from Northside High School right next door in Roanoke. Second free throw good. Tevin Panchel has come back in for the Generals, who lead it by 15. So the shot clock is on. About a 3-second differential, but the Generals can essentially hold it for the final good shot, which appears to be what they're doing. Mark Lamondola, one step across midcourt, just dribbling calmly with 16 seconds to play. Now Lamondola comes to the left side. 10 on the shot clock. Lamondola eyes it. Double screen. Lamondola goes the other way. Flings to Panchel. Right corner, Denon. Another 3 is up. No good. The rebound bounces through the legs of Draper. He gets it, but can't get his shot off. As time expires, right as he regains control. Terrific first half for Washington and Lee. The defense locked in. The three-point shots falling. And at the break here in Salem, it's the Generals 38 and Roanoke 23. You're listening to Washington and Lee basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting. We'll come back after this timeout.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Halftime at the Kreger Center tonight. Washington and Lee on top of Roanoke, 38-23. The Generals, even without their leading scorer, the second leading scorer in the ODAC, William Brueggemann, have a 15-point lead here on the road. Joining me at the break tonight is the Senior Associate Director of Athletic Communications at Washington and Lee, Chip Whipple. And Chip, losing William Brueggemann obviously hurts, but the Generals have been able to make do because of the balanced scoring at one end and maybe the best defense we've seen all season at the other.
Yeah, offensively, you could kind of see in those first 8 to 10 minutes that the Generals' offense was a little out of sort. I mean, you lose your leading scorer, a guy who has the ball in his hands a lot of time on the offensive end. It just takes some time to get the feel right. And then that 10-minute mark, the offense started to click, and they started to make their shots from the outside. But the full 20 minutes, I mean, you speak of it. on the defensive end, they're holding Roanoke to 32% from the field, 12.5% from three. Nothing is coming easy for the Maroons on that end of the floor, and it starts with Curtis Mitchell in the paint, but I mean, Sam Wise, Mark Lamondola, the guards out on the perimeter are funneling the Roanoke offensive players into Curtis, and it's just working for the Generals.
If you talk to Coach McHugh, he thinks they're a very good defensive team, and there's certainly evidence to bear that out. Washington and Lee is 8th in the conference in scoring defense, but as I mentioned toward the end of that first half, that's not necessarily the right stat to look at. The Generals play up tempo, so not only do they have more possessions, their opponents have more possessions, and naturally that's going to lead to more points. WNL is 5th in field goal percentage defense. We've seen them. They've locked down 4 players have scored for Roanoke in the first half. And it's not just Curtis Mitchell protecting the rim or just Mark Lamondola on the ball. It really is a great effort from the 5 guys on the floor at any given time.
Yeah, we've seen a couple different styles during the game. The Generals switched to zone halfway through. I think it kind of threw off Roanoke a little bit. They weren't expecting that. WNL doesn't play a lot of zone. And so I think Coach McHugh understanding he's down his leading scorer. He's going a little bit deeper into his bag to see what he can do to throw Roanoke off. Plus, the second time you play a team, you want to do some different things because they have scouted you. They have played against you once now, so you want to throw some different wrinkles out there, and it's just been working.
I mentioned this early in the game. It's an obvious disadvantage for Washington Lee not to have William Brueggemann and his 18 points and the constant threat he is to score the basketball. But it can also be a challenge for the opposing team. They've practiced for however many days. They've been preparing for Washington Lee to slow down Brueggemann because he had a great game against them the first time around. All of a sudden, the Maroons have to adjust to the way they're playing this game.
Yeah, on the offensive end, I'm sure Roanoke came in thinking we got to stay with William Brueggemann. We got to defend him out to half court almost sometimes when he's shooting three. And the Generals have really switched their focus on offense today. They're going into the post a lot to Curtis Mitchell. It's not working necessarily for Curtis tonight. He's only 2 for 7, but the gravity that he has, the defense is now coming into the paint and is leaving those shooters open, or now they're scrambling because they doubled and now they're having to rotate the entire rest of the possession, and it's leading, and the Generals keep making the extra pass and finding the open guy, and it's working.
Got some other ODAC scores at halftime tonight. Virginia Wesleyan and Hampton-Sydney on either side of WNO in the ODAC standings. The Marlins lead the Tigers 26-24 at the break. I'll come back to that game. Guilford 37, Lynchburg 28, Ferrum 23, Emory and Henry 19 late in the first half. And also in the first half, it's Bridgewater 37, Randolph 36, Virginia Wesleyan and Hampton-Sydney. The Marlins, everyone expected to be up near the top of the ODAC standings. A good contingent for Dave Macedo. They add in Daniel Spencer, the Emory and Henry transfer. Hampton-Sydney has been the biggest surprise of this season. They won one ODAC game last year, and Caleb Kimbrough, former Guilford point guard and Washington and Lee assistant coach, done a remarkable job turning that program around in a hurry.
Yeah, we saw them early on in the year. They came to Lexington in early December, late November, I don't remember which, and you could tell that they were close because there were moments where it looked like the Generals looked like they were going to pull away, and Sydney just kept fighting back. And you could see that this was going to be something that Coach Caleb had worked and gotten the guys in a position that they were going to start succeeding. And maybe he didn't think it would happen this year, but the results speak for themselves, that they're right there in the middle of the pack for an ODAC spot on the tournament, and they're going neck to neck right now with a top 25 team in Virginia Wesleyan.
Marlins are 10-2, and the Tigers 8-4 in ODAC play. The Generals right in the middle at 9-3. So you got a Washington and Lee team, Chip, that has 17 wins on the season. Obviously a tough game to finish out tonight, even with the halftime lead. Have to go to number 3 Randolph-Macon on Saturday, Easter Mennonite and Ferrum next week. Plot this out for WNL. What are the Generals looking to accomplish outside of winning as many games as possible to build up toward the ODAC tournament that starts in a couple weeks?
You always want to just build good habits, but I think in an ideal scenario, you want to get on the other side of the bracket than Randolph-Macon. They've clearly been head and shoulders above everybody else in the league this year. They're undefeated in conference play. So if you can put yourself in the 2 or the 3 spot, so that you can be on the other side and so you wouldn't have to theoretically face them until the championship, I think that's huge for your chances of winning the ODAC tournament because they have less time to prepare. They've now played 3 games in 3 days type of thing. It's just not the same Randolph-Macon that you face where they have 3 days to prepare, 3 days of rest before a contest. So I think getting to that 2 to 3 spot, but they're not thinking that far ahead. They're thinking Roanoke tonight, then they have Randolph-Macon on Saturday, the Roan game, and then EMU. They got to take it one game at a time before they get to there.
Well, great win for the Washington Lee women last night at home. Their final game in Lexington this season as they beat Eastern Mid-Tonight 80-60. By the way, the very loud ovation behind us. There was a marriage proposal at halftime here at the Kreger Center, and obviously it was successful.
Yes, it appears she said yes, which is what you always want with a marriage proposal.
Especially when you make it in a public forum
Yes.
like this. So, congratulations to the happy couple. Generals beat Eastern Mid-Night 80-60 in women's basketball. I've never seen that at a game in person. I've only seen it on television before.
This is a first for me as well.
20-point win for WNL coming off their first loss of 2020. They had a program record 10-game winning streak. Ended Randolph-Macon on Saturday. Bounced back against the Royals. Now 13-3 in the ODAC with 2 games to go at Virginia Wesleyan Sunday at Randolph next Wednesday. WNL team that is currently in second place in the ODAC standings. Got to the conference championship last year, lost to Shenandoah when the Hornets won the tournament, won the title as the number 8 seed. It's been a big motivating factor for Washington and Lee, itching to get back and make another postseason run.
Yeah, I think it was big for them on yesterday, on Tuesday, to come back and get that win. Obviously, you have disappointment when you lose that game at Randolph-Macon. You had a winning streak going, a program record winning streak. You wanted to keep that going. It didn't work out that way. But to come back, you're on your home floor, get that win so that you get that positive momentum building back. Maybe didn't play exactly how they wanted to, but did enough. I mean, they still win by 20 points. They're doing things right. Because you want to go into that ODAC tournament feeling well. You want to go, especially in their case, where they got that extra day off before, they got that extra game off because they don't play the last Saturday when everybody else would be playing in conference slate. So you want to get these next 2 games so that you're in position going into the ODAC tournament. They don't really control where they're going to sit right now. They have to see how some of the other games play out. But if they keep winning and put themselves in a good position, I think they'll be in a good spot.
5 players in double figures for Christine Clancy's team last night, led by 15 points from Jordan Deal. Andy Smith, he had a double-double, 13 points and 10 rebounds. 3 of those points came on the first 3-pointer she had ever taken in her career. She said she never even attempted one in high school or college, and the senior captain got a 3. Got about as big an ovation from everybody in the DTC last night as the happy couple that just got engaged did here in Roanoke.
Yeah, and from head coach Christine Clancy. That was maybe the most I've seen her celebrate during a game. You had a player like Andy Smithy who's put in 4 years of hard work, didn't come in as this highly touted recruit, but put the work in and day out and put herself in a position where she's an impact player in the ODAC. She's a player that the opposing teams have to look at and scout and figure out how they're going to defend her because she is a productive player that puts points on the board and is grabbing rebounds for that team.
38-23, back to the men's side here. That's our score at halftime as Washington and Lee has the 15-point lead over the Maroons. WNL 7 of 15 from 3 in the first half, and 6 different players had at least one make from beyond the arc. Kevin Denon leading the way with 8 points. Curtis Mitchell had 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. And just balance after that. 9 different players with at least 1 basket so far tonight. And the Generals holding Roanoke to that 32% shooting clip. Only 4 players on the scoreboard for the Maroons so far. How do you maintain this advantage and get out of here with a win if you're WNL?
I mean, we've talked about it a lot so far, but it's going to be on the defensive end. I mean, the shooting comes and goes. You're not necessarily going to be able to shoot 46% from 3 all game, but you can continue to play solid defense. You can continue to make the right rotation. You can continue to force the ball where you want the ball to be. So that means funneling it into Curtis Mitchell. It means making sure a guard doesn't have a free path to the basket. You do those type of things, and you continue to move the ball on the offensive end. Don't get the ball stuck. Don't dribble the air out of it. And you're going to be in a position, especially when you're coming into the half with a 15-point lead. You don't have to beat them again by 15 in the second half. You need to do enough to maintain that advantage.
So 15-point margin for the Generals at the break. Chip, always great to catch up with you.
Thanks for having me.
Send you off and let you film some more highlights in the second half. That is Chip Whipple, the Senior Associate Director of Athletic Communications at Washington and Lee, our halftime guest tonight. Our score at the intermission in Salem, Washington and Lee 38 and Roanoke 23. We'll come back with some additional stats and ODAC scores after a short break here on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee up 38-23 at halftime here at the Kreger Center tonight. Team numbers in the first half. The Generals 14 of 29 from the field, 48%, 7 of 15 from 3, 3 of 5 at the foul line. Roanoke just 32% from the floor, 8 of 25, only 1 of 8 from 3. Did go 6 of 8 at the foul line. The Generals plus 5 on the glass, 20-15. And turnover count, 6 apiece. Bench points, Washington and Lee with the 18-9 advantage. The Generals also 9 second chance points. The Maroons with 0. Caleb Jordan led Roanoke with 8 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Trip Green had 6. Efosa Adosimwan 5. Nick Price 4. 3 of the Maroon starters did not score. Nothing for Ethan Rohan, nothing for Dylan Thomas. No points for Casey Draper, who did have 2 assists. Again, the General scoring spread out across the board. Kevin Denon had 8. He was 2 of 4 from 3. And just running down the line, 6.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks for Curtis Mitchell, 4 points for Richie Manigault, 2 points, 2 steals for Mark Lamandola, 5 points, 2 assists for Sam Wise, 3 points, 2 assists for Jack Lewis, 4 points for Robert DeCibio, and then 3 points apiece. 1 made 3 for Gus Wise and Tevin Panchel. Again, the ODAC scoreboard at halftime: Virginia Wesleyan 26, Hampton Sydney 24. Guilford leads Lynchburg 37-28. Late first half, it's Bridgewater 41, Randolph 39. In fact, that game has reached halftime. And then Ferrum leading Emory and Henry 36-24 with 56 seconds left in the half. ODAC women's basketball scores. Washington and Lee currently half a game behind Bridgewater and 1 game ahead of Emory and Henry. Shenandoah leading Bridgewater 39-24. Late in the first half, the Eagles' 10-game winning streak in jeopardy. ENH has a 41-27 lead over Roanoke, which beat the Wasps here at the Kreger Center earlier this season. And then it's Ferrum 40, Hollins 30. About to reach halftime, just a few miles away in Roanoke. 38-23, Washington and Lee leading the Maroons here as we get ready for second half action at the Kreger Center. That comes your way in just a moment on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
911, what is your emergency?
My kid shot himself.
All right, where's the wound, sir? 911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother.
911, what is your emergency? Okay.
911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
38-23, Washington and Lee on top of Roanoke. Second half will get underway momentarily. Jeremy Franklin with you at the Kreger Center in Salem. You're listening live tonight on WLUR Lexington, 91.5 FM, and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting. Our coverage of Generals Athletics will continue Sunday on the WNL Sports Network. We've got a big-time lacrosse doubleheader at noon. The 13th-ranked WNL men will take on number 8 Denison at Wilson Field at 2 p.m. The 7th-ranked Washington and Lee women will open the season against number 12 Mary Washington over at Watt Field. You can watch both of those games at generalsports.com. We'll have that final home game of the regular season for the Washington and Lee men next Wednesday, February 19th, 7 o'clock tip against Eastern Mennonite, the last varsity basketball game at the Duchess Watt Tennis Center, which has been the interim home of Generals volleyball and basketball for the last 2 years. The new indoor athletic facility slated to open this summer. Roanoke basketball as we get back underway. Dylan Thomas, Caleb Jordan, Casey Draper, Ethan Rohan, and Tripp Green starting 5 for the Maroons. Starting lineup as well for the Generals: Mark Lamondola, Richie Mandegalt, Mark Krogan, Kevin Denon, and Curtis Mitchell. Maroons go right to left here in the second half. Generals up by 15. They beat Roanoke 70-64 in Lexington 3 weeks ago. Dylan Thomas has it wing left side. Thomas one dribble back to Jordan. Jordan working into the lane and has his shot blocked by Curtis Mitchell. Came over to help Denon. Third block tonight for Mitchell. Quick outlet to Mandegalt. Transition bucket for Richie Mandegalt, and the lead up to 17. Washington and Lee wastes no time getting the ball up and down the floor. And the General strike in transition. Dylan Thomas misses a 3. Offensive rebound for Rohan. Thomas gets it, drives inside, lays it up over Krogan, and that's good. First points of the night for Dylan Thomas, 40-25 Generals. Lamondola top of the arc on the opposite end. Bounce pass away to Krogan. Krogan at the right elbow will hand off to Lamondola. Thinks 3 now, takes it to the free throw line. Works to the baseline and steps back out. Shot clock at 11. Still Lamondola with the ball. Gives it away to Mitchell, left corner. Mitchell driving on Rohan. Reverse layup good. 1-on-1. Curtis Mitchell. Great take. He's got 8, and it's 42-25. Ahead comes Jordan. Jordan gives to Tripp Green, left corner. Green around a screen from Draper. Into the lane against Lamondola. The leaner around Lamondola. Tough shot goes. Not much more Lamondola could do. Tripp Green with a basket. 4 points apiece to start the second half. Generals still up 15. 18-22 to play. Kevin Denon on the left side. Out front to Mandegalt. Fires up the 3 ball short. Rebound secured by Rohan. He'll hand it off to Caleb Jordan. Jordan gives on the wing to Thomas. Lamondola good closeout to prevent the 3-point shot. Thomas still has it on the dribble. And now trying to work it inside to Draper. Draper. Post up, the floater is up and good. His first bucket tonight. He only had 1 hoop in the game in Lexington. A guy who averages double figures on the year, 42-29. Now Krogan gets it left elbow. Gives to Mandegalt. Mandegalt stops and pops the 15-footer off the back iron. No good. Rebound batted around, controlled by Jordan. Jordan into the paint. One-hander is up, won't go. Rebound to Mitchell. 17:30 to play. Generals up 13. Lamondola wing left side against Thomas. Calls for the clear out. Now calls for a Mitchell screen. Still Lamondola trying to run the pick and roll well. Defended by Roanoke. Mitchell will get a touch. Hits Mandegalt on the cut. And he stepped out of bounds. Mandegalt was working the baseline. Evidently had a toe on the wrong side of it. Back to the Maroons with 17:14 to play. A lot more rhythm to the Roanoke offense in the opening minutes of the second half after they hit just 8 baskets in the first 20 minutes. Jack Lewis, Rob DeCibio, and Sam Wise have come in to play with Denon and Mitchell. Saw those early subs in the first half as well. Again, Washington and Lee without the services of the second leading scorer in the ODAC tonight, William Brueggemann, who didn't even make the trip due to illness. Jordan on the left wing. 12 to shoot. Jordan inside to Draper, posting up Lewis. Draper, one-hander, no. Battle for the rebound, and it's controlled by Sam Wise. Wise runs the floor, ships it ahead to Lewis. Right side three is up and good. Jack Lewis with his second hit from three. Secondary transition got the Maroons that time. They never picked up the shooter. 45-29. Green down the lane, the runner, no. Rohan wrestles down the rebound and scores his first points tonight. He's got 6 rebounds. 45-31. At the other end, Sam Wise between the circles. Works it left side to Lewis. Lewis down the lane, kick to Mitchell. Away to Wise. Wise against Green. Off to Lewis. 10 on the shot clock. Mitchell gets it down low, 1v1 with Rohan. The back down, the leaner is up, no good. Rebounded by Green. Trip Green goes coast to coast for Roanoke. Layup no good because it was goaltended. I believe Mitchell hit that while it was in the cylinder. So count the bucket for Green. He's got 10. And the Maroons have trimmed the margin down to 12. And they've got some energy now in this building, which was sorely lacking late in the first half. Got some subs for both teams. It's now Lamendola, DeCibio, Lewis, Sam Wise, and Gus Wise against Green, Draper, Jordan. And then back in for Roanoke are Edosimwan and Galt. Sam Wise out front, long bounce pass away to DeCibio. DeCibio dribbling top of the arc. Now starts in, pulls up, foul line jumper, no. Rebound tap to Lewis, away to Lamendola, who will launch the three. That is up and no good. Gus Wise had a piece of the rebound. It's knocked away from him by Edosimwan. Out of bounds to Washington and Lee. Shot clock will be at 20 off the field goal that hit the iron. Field goal attempt, that is. Game clock at 15:34. Generals up 45-33. Sam Wise into DeCibio, deep right corner. DeCibio driving, leaning, layup, good. Rob DeCibio's got 6 points tonight. And the lead is back up to 14. That ties his career high, and he's got a steal at the other end. Comes down with the basketball, and then got bumped in the open floor by Trip Green. Not a ton of whistles in that first half. The Generals only committed 6 fouls. Roanoke just 3. No Maroon player with more than 1 personal right now. Gus Wise is the only player in the game with multiple fouls. He's got 2. Generals up 14 with 15-16 to play. They've got 17 wins on the season. If I can think of something to throw 18 in, I'll add that later on. Here's Sam Wise on the drive. Kick out to DeCibio. Fakes the three. DeCibio down the lane. Layup is no good, but he is fouled. Rob DeCibio feeling it right now. What a spark he's been for the Generals tonight. And Rob DeCibio heading to the line with the clock stopped at 14:59. DeCibio has only shot 10 free throws this year. He's made 7 of them. The Maroon foul, the first on Casey Draper. Foul shot here is up and good. New career mark for DeCibio. The first year from Sandy Hook, Connecticut, whose minutes have been increasing as of late. He's played at least 9 minutes in each of the last 5 games. He'd only played 9 minutes once prior to the first contest against the Maroons. Connects on the second free throw as well, so 8 for DeCibio tonight. All-state player for Newtown High School. Also competed in volleyball, baseball, and soccer. 49-33, Washington and Lee. Generals back in their zone, which was effective in the first half, especially with Roanoke shooting so poorly from the outside. Jordan to the high post to Draper. Kick to the wing. Edosimwan for 3. That's short. Lamendola elevates to get the rebound. Generals up 16. Lamendola inside to Mitchell. Fouled on the catch there by Rohan. That'll be Ethan Rohan's first personal. Maybe calling the game a little tighter in this second half. Curtis Mitchell does not have any fouls so far. And the Generals will have possession. Shot clock at 24. Kojak Thompson out there for Roanoke, rookie guard. And it comes to Lamendola. Great inbounds play. Run by Sam Wise and the Generals. Easy 2 for Lamendola. And Washington and Lee has an 18-point lead. That's its biggest of the night, 51-33. Press break for the Maroons. The runner for Nick Price is up and good. He's got 6 points for Roanoke. At the other end, terrific pass again. Sam Wise, the 35-foot bouncer to DeCibio, who's in double figures now with 10. And the Generals lead at 53-35. 13:56 to play. Thompson out front for the Maroons. Away to Price. Back to Thompson, who will fire up the three. That is no good. And Curtis Mitchell grabs his 9th rebound of the night. Here comes Sam Wise. He's working on a 5-assist game. That's his first hitting that category in a long time. He had a bunch of them early in the year. DeCibio on the wing, clear out against Draper. DeCibio, the back down, the leaner, it is up, it is good, and the Generals bench is fired up. 8 in the second half already for DeCibio. 55-35 Washington and Lee with 13:20 to go. Still a zone look for the Generals. Draper gets it, kicked to it, somewhat away to Thompson, tries another three. This one nothing but net. Just the second make for the Maroons from downtown tonight. They came in leading the conference in three-point percentage. DeCibio thought about a long three. They clear it out for him again. He's looking to give it up this time, but he will to Sam Wise. Away to Lamondola. Inside to Mitchell. Poked at by Rohan. They're going to call him for a reach-in foul. That is not going to be a popular decision here at the Kreger Center. Not a ton of contact there, but number 2 on Rohan will take us to a timeout. It's the Rob DeCibio show right now for the Generals. He scored 8 in the second half already, and Washington and Lee on top of the Maroons 55-38 with 12:51 to play. Back in a moment, you're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, a breakout game for Robert DeCibio, the Connecticut native, who has been contributing as of late. Minutes over the last 5, 9, 9, 11, 9, and 9. Points, 6, 3, 4, 2, and 2. So he's been helping the Generals out. He had 6 rebounds in the win at Emory and Henry, 5 boards in the home blowout of Guilford. But nothing like what we have seen so far tonight. 5 of 6 from the field. He made a pair of free throws as well. A career-high 12 points, double the previous mark for DeCibio. And Washington and Lee up by 17 with 12:51 to play. Generals from the field in the second half so far are 7 of 12. Roanoke has picked it up. The Maroons are 7 of 14 after shooting just 32% in the first half. But because of DeCibio and the way the Generals offense continues to execute, no real inroads in the lead. We got a whistle on the inbounds as it comes into Lamondola. They'll say he was hit on the way up, and free throws coming for the Generals. Fouls on Nick Price. Roanoke was whistled for 3 team fouls in the first half, already 5 in the second half, and we've still got 12:49 to play. Lamondola at the foul line. First one well short. Lamondola with 4 points tonight comes in as a 68% free throw shooter. 15 points against Shenandoah in the game last Wednesday. Second free throw good, and it's 56-38. Generals continue to extend the defense. Haven't seen any real press break points for Roanoke, so no reason for Chris McHugh to abandon that when they can get back and set up the half-court defense, even if they don't force a turnover. It comes to Rohan down low, out to Thomas, away to Thompson. Thompson back to Thomas, fakes the left corner three. Away to Thompson, who will try it on the wing. That's short, over Sam Wise, and Mark Lamondola with the rebound. Lamondola to the left side. Mark Krogan back on the floor, sets the screen, trying to run the pick and roll. It's not there. Lamondola to Denon. Now it comes inside to Krogan. Back out to Sam Wise. Right back to Krogan. Krogan, the post up. Double team, leans around it. Layup, no. Tough shot. Won't go. Kojak Thompson sprints ahead for the Maroons. Samwise with him step for step, and Thompson will work it back out. Sends it left side to Jordan. Jordan around the Draper screen. And we've got a whistle and a foul. Mark Krogan will pick up his first personal away from the basketball there. That's the first team foul on Washington and Lee in the second half. 11:46 to play, and the Generals on top 56-38. Sideline inbounds play as Thomas will drop it into Draper to the right wing to Jordan. Jordan backing down Lamendola. Kick to Draper. Draper pulls up right baseline, 12-footer short. Mitchell in double figures with 10 rebounds now. Lamendola working down low at the other end. Lamendola called for an offensive foul. He was trying to spin around Dylan Thomas and did the wraparound move, and Matt Lee caught him. That'll be Lamendola's second foul. Richie Manigault will replace Lamendola. Joe Michalowskis back in for the Maroons. Still an 18-point Washington and Lee advantage with 11:28 left in the second half. Generals looking for their 8th straight win and what would be a 13th in their last 14 games. This is the best run of basketball in terms of wins and losses for Washington and Lee since 1988-89. That team won 16 of 17. Ended up losing 4 of its last 5 games, though. Generals hoping to avoid a similar fate this year with the ODAC tournament fast approaching. Matchup zone again for Washington and Lee. Thompson the drive. Thompson shot swatted by Curtis Mitchell right into the hands of Denon, and he double dribbled, and he knew it. Indecisive at midcourt. He wanted to get it ahead to Samwise. I think realized at the last second the pass wasn't there. Ended up putting both hands on the basketball trying to control it. "11 minutes left, 56-38 Generals. Go Jack Thompson, top of the key. Swings it away to Michalowskis. Back to Thompson. Thompson attacking. Lost it off the dribble. Rohan gets it back. Feeds Michalowskis. 12 on the shot clock. He will attack. Another block for Mitchell. That is his 5th of the game. Here comes Samwise. 5-on-4. Michalowskis slow to rejoin the play. Manigault will attack, and he'll put up the 8-foot floater, and that is good. 8 for Manigault, back to a 20-point Generals lead with 10:26 to go. Long pass ahead to Michalowskis, right across midcourt. And the skip across to Jordan, out front to Thompson. Thompson getting it away to the wing to Dylan Thomas. Works it back between the circles, left side to Thompson. Down to the baseline for Rohan. Rohan for Jordan. He's got Mitchell between him and the basket. Has to get it back to the perimeter. Thompson ends up with an open 3 left side, but that won't go. Roanoke 2 of 14 from beyond the arc in this game. Inside of 10 minutes to play, Washington and Lee in possession, up 20. Inside it comes to Mitchell, posting up Rohan. Layup, no. Battle for the rebound. It's grabbed by Jordan. He sprints ahead in a 3-on-2, leaves it for the trailer, and then Thomas just misses the layup. Generals have it. They go the other way, 3-on-3. Samwise will slow it down for just a moment. Get it away to Denon. Left side it comes to Manigault. Manigault working baseline. Stops there and feeds it back out to Samwise. 9:26 to play. Generals up by 20 on the road. Inside Curtis Mitchell. Squares to the rim. He's got a guard on him. And that guard able to draw the player control foul. Mitchell led with his shoulder. Really didn't need to do that against Michalowskis, who stands at 6'4". Mitchell at 6'8". And the player control will be the first foul on Curtis Mitchell tonight. That'll be team turnover number 10 for Washington and Lee, but it's 58-38 Generals with 9:20 remaining. Tevin Panchel, Mark Krogan, Robert DeCibio back in for the Generals, playing with Manigault and Lamendola. Open 3 right side trip green, no good. It's been that kind of night for Roanoke. Press break, they had a wide open look, could not hit. At the other end, Manigault hands off to DeCibio. Can he pick up where he left off? Gets it around to Lamendola. Lamendola out front to Tevin Panchel. Panchel away to Manigault. Manigault driving baseline and then turns it over. Maybe threw it away. Got a piece of it. Should be a held ball whistle. A long time coming there. Manigault on the deck. So were Rohan and Jordan. And Washington and Lee will keep it on the alternating possession. Hustle by Manigault to negate the miscue of the bad pass. So a baseline inbounds play coming up for the Generals. The shot clock is at 8. And Chris McHugh has a timeout to spare, so we'll take it, try to draw up a play. We'll step aside as well. 8:47 left second half. A 20-point Washington and Lee advantage here in Salem. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
And we've been stuck at 58-38 for a couple of minutes now. That will not bother the team that has 58 all that much. That's W&L. The last points, Richie Manigault scored at the 10:40 mark. We're down to 8:47 to play. And a sizable advantage for the Generals, looking for a season sweep of the Maroons, trying to get to 10-3 in the ODAC, 18-4 overall. 3 games left in the regular season after tonight at number 3 Randolph-Macon Saturday. Home against Eastern Mid-Night next Wednesday. You can watch that game on the W&L Sports Network at generalsports.com. And then Washington and Lee will cap off the year at Ferrum on Saturday, February 22nd. ODAC tournament starts 2 weeks from yesterday. 7 seed hosts the 10, the 8th place hosts to the 9. And then the remaining teams, the top 6, and the winners of those 2 play-in games head to the Salem Civic Center quarterfinal action on Friday, February 28th. Post up Mark Lamondola off the inbounds. No, gets his own rebound. Hands to DeCibio. DeCibio, guarded by Michalauskas here, gives it up to Lamondola. Shot clock is at 10. Got it up to 20 off the missed field goal. Lamondola around the screen. Shoots the 3. No good. Rebound tapped by Krogan. Controlled by Panchel. Another 20-second reset for Washington and Lee. Now Manigault driving down the lane, gets fouled, and he'll shoot 2. Generals clearly have the Maroons on their heels. Washington and Lee is now plus 14 on the glass tonight. And the Generals come in ranked 3rd in the ODAC in rebounding margin at plus 6.3. They've actually called that foul on the floor, so no shots for Manigault, but the possession clock back up to 20. Next foul would put the Generals in the bonus. Manigault's got it on the wing. Down low to Lamondola. 8 on the shot clock. Lamondola, the post up, the layup attempt. No, he was looking for a whistle. Did not get it that time. Here comes Michalauskas for the Maroons. Tough pass, great catch by Adosimwan. He threw it right at his feet. Back to Michalauskas. Elbow jumper, no. Strong rebound by Lamondola. Still 58-38. It's been that way for about 3 minutes of game time. 7:43 to go. Krogan, terrific pass on the cut. Lamondola, backdoor layup, good. Krogan threw that from the elbow, hit Lamondola in stride, and it's a 22-point Washington and Lee advantage. Michalauskas at the other end, driving on Lamondola. Nothing happened in there. Great D by the sophomore from Pittsburgh, and the Generals control. Lamondola will do something you don't often see the Generals do. Slow the game down here. They got a 22-point advantage on the road. They'll milk a little bit of clock with just over 7 minutes left in the second half. Tevin Panchel, wing right side. Bounce pass away to DeCibio. DeCibio off the dribble. 16-footer, yes. Unreal what we've seen from Rob DeCibio tonight. Previous career high was 6. He's got 14. And he just made a deep 2 off the dribble. 62-38. 6:46 to go. And Tevin Panchel just rejects Trip Green at the other end. Rohan ends up with the basketball. It comes to Adosimwan, who muscles one up. No. Rebound squirts to Panchel. Outlet to Manigault. One-on-one with Michalauskas. And Manigault just glides by him and scores. 64-38 Generals. 6:26 to play. A very deflated Kreger Center here in Salem. Trip Green's got it on the perimeter. Green attacking, fouled on the drive by Manigault. Wave off the layup. And that'll be the first on Manigault. Just the 14th foul on Washington and Lee. 26-point Generals lead. Down to 6:17 remaining in the second half. Changes for both teams. It's now Corser, Adosimwan, Green, Draper, and Jordan for Roanoke against DeCibio, Samwise, Mitchell, Panchel, and Denon for Washington and Lee. In it comes to Draper. Open 12-footer won't go. The Maroons had a good start offensively to the second half, but they've gone ice cold. And Washington and Lee in control of the ball, in control of the game. Mitchell away to Panchel, top of the key. Panchel, skip across to DeCibio. Thinking about a 26-footer, thinks better of it, attacks, puts up the floater, no good off the back iron, and the rebound controlled by Adosimwan. Just the second miss tonight for DeCibio. At the other end, top of the arc, it comes to Draper, left side to Green. Green around the screen, launches the three, that's good. First points in a long time for the Maroons. Still 64-41 Generals, 5.5 to go. Mitchell, top of the key, right side to Denon. Away to Tevin Panchel. Panchel hits Mitchell on the cut. Mitchell flings to the open man to Wise. Top of the key to Panchel. He has a good look. That's no good. Rob DeCibio fighting hard for the rebound, and he's going to be rewarded with some free throws. He got the basketball, then the reach-in foul will put W on the bonus. So 1-1 for DeCibio. He's been the player of the game so far for the Generals. 14 points in 18 minutes tonight. He's already 2 of 2 at the foul line. And their scoring just so spread out after that. Manigault has 10. Curtis Mitchell, 8 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks tonight. Kevin Denon hasn't scored in the second half, but he's got 8 in the game. DeCibio, of course, that free throw is going in. His 11th point of the second half makes it 65-41 with 5:18 to go. Second one, got that as well. 16 tonight for the rookie, who checks out with his team up by 25. Up the floor comes Nick Price. Right side to Adosimwan. Across to J.P. Corser. Now Green. Green, step back three, top of the key over Mitchell. No, rebounded by Jack Lewis. Ahead comes Sam Wise, 5-minute mark. It's Washington and Lee 66, Roanoke 41. Inside it comes to Lewis, out to Mitchell, corner three. That won't go. A rare attempt from beyond the arc for Mitchell. And Trip Green, coast to coast for Roanoke. And then he makes some contact with Denon, who they'll say was not set. A blocking foul on Kevin Denon, his second, team's fifth. Looked like the proper call. Green was trying to dish to the corner. The Maroons might rather have had to play on there. Didn't see who the player was spotting up with. Somebody was wide open. 4:43 remaining second half. 25-point lead for the Generals. Even without their leading scorer, William Brueggemann, who comes in second in the conference, 18.3 points per game. Defense has been tremendous. Other guys have stepped up on the offensive end. Mark Lamendola returning to the floor. Out goes Lewis. Roanoke basketball with 25 on the shot clock. And a baseline inbounds play coming up for Nick Price. Into Draper, posting up, gets fouled. Nice set play run there by Roanoke. And by the time Curtis Mitchell got there, even as good a defender as he is, all he could do is make contact with Draper. Draper's got 5 points tonight, all in the second half. 64% foul shooter. He's going to have some time to think about these attempts as Chris McHugh will take a timeout, as will we. 66-41 Generals. Back for the final 4:41 of the second half. In just a moment, you're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Washington and Lee is up by 25 with 4:41 remaining here in the second half. Jeremy Franklin back with you. Our coverage tonight on WLUR and WLUR All Access. So impressive to see what the Generals have done on the road tonight. Even without William Brueggemann. Barring a monumental collapse down the stretch, this will be an 8th straight win, a 13th in 14 games. The best run of basketball in over 30 years. The 19 victories that WNL put together last season, the most since 88-89. That squad finished 20-7 overall. Maybe a chance to improve upon that. Certainly a chance. This would get them to 18 with 3 games to go. Casey Draper hits the free throw. It's the first foul shot of the second half for the Maroons. Second on its way, and good. It's 66-43. Sam Wise away to his brother Gus. And just check back in. Gus to the left wing. Trying to hand off to Sam Wise. It's broken up by Green. Sam Wise to the deck to save it. And the Generals, I believe, are going to burn a timeout before Sam Wise can get tied up. And this time we'll keep it right here and try to update you on some ODAC scores. 4:26 left in our game. It's Washington in lead 66, Roanoke 43. Virginia Wesleyan trying to get the road win over Hampton City. The Marlins up 51-46 with 7:08 to play. Again, the ODAC standings right around WNL. Virginia Wesleyan 10-2 coming into tonight. The Generals 9-3. The Tigers of Hampton City 8-4. Guilford leading Lynchburg 70-52. Both of those teams right behind WNL in the ODAC standings. Ferrum 64, Emory and Henry 45. And it's Randolph 58, Bridgewater 57. Again, if you're joining us late, Washington and Lee playing without William Brueggemann tonight. Missing the game due to illness. Rob DeCibio, the rookie, has stepped up almost triple his previous career high. He's got 16. Richie Manigault's got 10. Curtis Mitchell, 8 points, 12 boards, 5 blocks. Kevin Denon, 8 points. Mark Lamondola has 7. Jack Lewis has a couple of threes for 6 points. So rather than any one guy replacing Brueggemann's point production, although DeCibio's come awfully close, it has been a very balanced effort. Meanwhile, the Generals holding Roanoke to 31% shooting from the field, and the Maroons are 3 of 17 from three-point range. Trip Green leading Roanoke with 13 points. Caleb Jordan has 8. Generals basketball, shot clock at 16, game clock at 4:26, a 23-point WNL advantage. As Sam Wise handles it out front. Coming around a Manigault screen, right side Lamondola, down low to Mitchell. Posting up on Courser, double teamed, and Adosinwan swipes the ball away. Ifosa Adosinwan running the floor. Hands off to the trailing Nick Price. Now it comes around to Green. Green attacking, the runner is up, no, but he's fouled, and Trip Green will shoot a couple. I believe they called that on Manigault. They did, that's his second. 7th team foul. Both teams in the single bonus right now. 2 shots for Trip Green. And the first one is no good. Green, an 83% foul shooter. A rear miss for him at the line. Second one up and in to make it 66-44. 4 minutes left, second half. Curtis Mitchell, top of the key. Dribbles to the left elbow. Trying to hand off to Lamondola. Green battling. Lamondola has to track the ball down near midcourt. Left side, Mitchell. Mitchell the drive, the spin. The leaner is up, blocked by Courser, and Adosinwan hustles down the ball. Adosinwan running the floor against Lamondola. Layup, no. Krogan the rebound. Jogged across by Lamondola. Lamondola kicks to the corner. An open 3 is up. No good for Denon. All alone in the right corner. Could not hit. Maroons have it. Still down by 22 with 3:21 to go. Draper to the elbow. Back out to Price. Price into the lane. Double team. Tries to hand off to Courser, who wasn't ready for it. A turnover as it goes right to Lamondola instead. Lamondola backing out as we hit the 3-minute mark. Generals up 66-44. Mark Krogan right elbow. Gives to Richie Manigault. Manigault inside to Krogan. Back to the basket against Draper. Krogan the post up. The leaner is up and good for Mark Krogan. His first points of the night. 24-point Generals lead. 2:40 remaining. Adosinwan on the left side. Gets into the paint. Back out to Courser. Comes around to Green on the wing. He will pull up for a three. That is short. And Lamendola will hustle down his sixth rebound of the game. 68-44. Emphatic win in the works for Washington and Lee here in Salem. Lamendola driving, handing off to Mitchell, and he's fouled hard right underneath the rim. Free throws coming up for Curtis Mitchell. Had a chance to visit with him on the WNL Sports Weekly earlier today. You can watch that video at generalsports.com talking about how the team has avoided what easily could have been a rebuilding year with what WNL lost to graduation. And the upperclassmen, their presence and the way they've performed on the court and provided leadership off the court. And a big part of why the Generals are looking at an 18-4 record with 3 games left in the season. Mitchell hits the first free throw. If he can knock down the second, he'll have a double-double. And he does not. 1 of 2 there, 9 points, 12 rebounds tonight, just missing out on a 6th double-double this year. Driving at the other end is Nick Price. Reverse layup. Circus shot is good. A rare chance for the Roanoke fans to applaud here in the second half. Under 2 to play, 69-46. Shek Toure, Mark Nattiello have come in for the first time tonight for the Generals, playing with Mitchell, Lewis, and Panchel. Mitchell going out on the next dead ball. Mitchell away to Shek Toure, who started the first 8 games of the year, and he ends up stepping out of bounds against a double team. And now Mitchell will exit. Gus Wise returns with 1:45 to play and a 23-point Washington lead advantage. Roanoke has sent in Max Menzel, Brandon Ellington, and Colin Burns. Also out there are Draper and Price. Draper gets it. The post up on Shek Toure, who fouls him. And Casey Draper heading to the line with just 1:34 to play. Remaining schedule for Roanoke. They visit Bridgewater Saturday, go to Lynchburg next Wednesday, home against Randolph on the final day of the regular season, February 22nd. First one is up, no good for Draper. The Maroons will be 7-6 in the conference, 13-9 overall following this game. Looks like they'll be tied with Guilford for 6th place, assuming the Quakers hold on against Lynchburg tonight. Guilford beat Roanoke head-to-head here back in December. Second free throw good for Draper, 69-47, 1:27 and counting to play. Lewis away to Toure, deep left corner. And the ball knocked away by Brandon Ellington, picked up by Colin Burns. At the other end, Ellington on the wing. Ellington will take it down the lane. Left-handed runner, no. A late whistle and a foul will send him to the free throw line. So foul shots with just 1:11 remaining. Coming up for Brandon Ellington, the first year from Davidson, North Carolina, making his 6th career appearance, still seeking the first points of his Roanoke career. And now he's got one, as the first free throw is up and good. Second one on its way, in and out, 69-48. Panchel's got it for the Generals, approaching the final minute of this game. Mark Nattiello, wing left side. Wonderful pass inside to Jack Lewis, who lays it up and in. Lewis has 8 tonight. Terrific feed from Nattiello. And it's 71-48 with under a minute to go. Ellington away to Burns. Left side it goes to Price. Price around the screen from Menzel. Right side to Burns, who will fire up the 3. That's no good. Rebound to Gus Wise, just 38 seconds to go. Generals have to take another shot or accept a shot clock violation here. Or turn it over, which is what happens as Nattiello lost it on the wing. So back to Roanoke with 27.5 seconds to go. That possession went wrong, but almost everything else has gone right for the Generals here tonight. Defense exceptional, and the offense got a nice spark from a lot of unexpected places tonight. Post up for Draper, 2 points with just 16 seconds to go, and now the Generals will have it with the shot clock off. And they will get their 8th straight win, 13-1 in their last 14 And they will improve to 10-3 in conference play as Tevin Panchel dribbles out the clock. Impressive performance from Washington and Lee on the road without the team's leading scorer, and the Generals win big at the Kreger Center. Final score in Salem tonight, Washington and Lee 71 and Roanoke 50. Back in a moment to wrap this up. This is Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Final score at the Kreger Center in Salem tonight, Washington and Lee 71, Roanoke 50. The Generals with an 8th straight win as they improve to 10-3 in ODAC play, 18-4 overall. The Maroons fall to 7-6 in the conference, now 13-9 on the season. Tonight's broadcast of Generals basketball has been brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Celebrate your favorite Generals team with a sports tee, decal, or hat. If you can think of it, we probably have it. The store is open 7 days a week. It is owned and operated by Washington and Lee. All proceeds go back to the WNL community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive online promotions. Go Generals. Washington and Lee is getting accustomed to winning on the road. The Generals are now 8-1 in true road games this season. They've got an even tougher one, at least on paper, coming up Saturday, going to number 3, Randolph-Macon. The Yellow Jackets came to Lexington early in the year, beat the Generals 79-68. They were up over 20 at halftime, WNL, with a nice fight back in the second half. Even though the Yellow Jackets got the 11-point win, but you find a way to get it done and to do so in impressive fashion without your leading scorer, William Brueggemann, again out tonight due to illness. Good teams do that, and Washington and Lee, by just about any measure, is a good basketball team, 18-4. They are receiving votes in the D3Hoops.com Top 25. They are regionally ranked number 8 in the first South Region rankings that were just published today. Third of the ODAC teams listed, Randolph-Macon is 2 behind Emory, and Virginia Wesleyan third. And that is a bellwether of where your team might end up if you win an automatic bid, win the conference tournament, or if you have a chance to get in at large. At 8th in the region, the answer to that latter question is no, at least for now, but we'll see what might happen over the last 3 games of the regular season going into the conference tournament. For Washington and Lee, the Generals have not won an ODAC title in men's basketball in 40 years. Haven't been in the championship game since Chris McHugh was a player, and they made it as the number 8 seed back in 2009. Generals got this game won on the defensive end tonight, held Roanoke to 32% shooting, 18 of 57. Roanoke, which came in leading the conference in three-point shooting, just 3 of 19 from beyond the arc. The Maroons did go 11 of 16 at the foul line. The Generals a very healthy 47% from the floor, 27 of 57, 8 of 22 from 3. In fact, the Generals' three-point shooting, only one make in the second half. They found other ways to score, getting to the foul line. And, of course, that big second half from Rob DeCibio, a big part of that. Washington in lead 9 of 13 overall at the foul line tonight. The Generals out-rebounded Roanoke 46-28. Turnover count 14 for W&L, 8 for Roanoke. But points off turnovers, the Generals had a slight advantage there. Trip Green, the only Maroon in double figures. He finished with 14. Caleb Jordan had 8. All of those came in the first half. Nick Price had 8 points. Casey Draper with 7, Ifosa Edosimwan with 5. On the General side, a career game for Rob DeCibio, who had never scored more than 6 points in a contest. Prior to tonight, he had 16 points in 18 and a half minutes, 6 of 8 from the field and 4 of 4 at the foul line. 10 points for Richie Manigault. Curtis Mitchell, 9 points, 12 rebounds, a couple of assists, and 5 blocks in the game. And then just running down the line, so many guys contributing in different ways. Mark Krogan, 2.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Mark Lamondola had 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. Kevin Denon had 8 points. Sam Wise, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists without a turnover in 23 minutes of action tonight. And for Sam Wise, that is his first 5-assist game since December 28th. But the 10th time he's done it this year. He had a lot of great assist games in the early part of this season, and one of the best games we've seen him play as a rookie, the native of Winchester. Jack Lewis had 8 points and a couple of assists tonight. Gus Wise hit a 3, so did Tevin Panchel. Shek Torrey and Mark Nattiello got in for the final couple of minutes as well. So the Generals will try to keep this going. Can they hand Randolph-Macon their first ODAC loss of the season? That's a 2 o'clock tip Saturday afternoon in Ashland. The Yellow Jackets idle midweek, 13-0 in the ODAC entering that game. And we'll have live coverage of the home finale for Washington and Lee 1 week from tonight, Wednesday, February 19th, 7 o'clock tip against Eastern Mid-Tonight. It'll be the last varsity basketball game at the Duchess Waugh Tennis Center. You can watch it live at generalsports.com. Our thanks to Tony Wong back in the WLUR studio, as well as to Andy McEnroe at First Team Broadcasting. You've been listening to Generals Hoops on WLUR and WLUR All Access. I'm Jeremy Franklin saying so long from the Kreger Center here in Salem. Our final score tonight, Washington and Lee 71, Roanoke 50.